Can you imagine making one phone call and contracting on a property in less than an hour, start to finish, while never leaving the house? Well, you don't have to imagine anymore. You're going to get to hear it live.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
This is the Virtual Real Estate Investor Podcast with Vincent Polisi. Buckle your seatbelt and prepare to learn how to legally make six figures investing in real estate with no money, no credit check, and nothing but a computer and internet connection. Learn how you too can begin generating buyers and sellers for free today, and why you're only 2 calls away from making a $10,000 or more payday while never leaving the comfort of your home. And now, your host, the virtual real estate investor, Vincent Polisi.
All right, guys, here we go. This call is absolutely textbook seller laydown and is a perfect example of just how easy and beautiful this business can be once you learn the very basics and fundamentals of Sales 101, which begin with pre-qualification and then building rapport. As you walk somebody through a conversational approach to sales, you present, feature benefit, trial close, handle their objections, and then close. You're going to get to hear this live as I take a seller through the process, start to finish, and get a contract signed in under an hour while never leaving the house. And the best part is I already had a buyer.
Hey, what's up, investors? John Lee Dumas here, founder and host of Entrepreneur on Fire, awarded Best of iTunes 2013, and you're listening to the Virtual Real Estate Investor Podcast with my man, Vincent Polisi. Prepare to ignite.
And now, without further delay, it's unquestionably everyone's favorite segment of the Virtual Real Estate Investor Podcast with Vincent Polisi. It's time for an extra-large dose of total transparency. As you listen to Vincent live and in the trenches dodging bullets and grenades, while he's closing real buyers and sellers over the phone.
We're similar story. Either you've read my history, or you just have a very similar.
Oh no, I lived it. I had two houses. One of the houses in Alpharetta was a $700,000 house. The other one was about $140,000 townhouse that we had many years ago. And
timing is everything.
Oh yeah. And the bad part of it was, quite frankly, was I'm in the business, and we got kind of caught with our pants down at the wrong time with houses that were at peak value, but didn't matter. One of the guys and just to give you an example, we had a contract with the guy to buy the $700,000 property, and he was a real estate broker. He owned his own brokerage and he owned his own mortgage company, and it was so bad at that point he couldn't get his own loan done because they had
I understand. What you're saying. I had several people try to buy it. Actually, I have 2 houses on Kristen Lane, and I've had several contracts, and nobody can get financing, or nobody could get financing. And as a result, again, I let mine stay vacant for 2 years, maybe longer, 3 years maybe. Actually, it was 3 years, I believe, because I really wanted to sell them new, and just couldn't do it. Got frustrated, and once I turned them over, I wished I had done that a lot sooner.
Oh yeah.
At least it started generating income.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Believe me, I'm right there with you. After 12 months of doing that and $48,000 burned up, my wife's looking at me and she's like, that's a lot of Ritz-Carlton. Yeah, that's a lot of Ritz-Carlton vacations we could have gone on. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, I do know exactly what you mean.
So at any rate, well, here's the deal. I put together a program at that point that was designed strictly for people that wanted to purchase a property, but they didn't qualify at that point for financing. And this goes back to about 2007, and it just basically went gangbusters. And it's to the point now that we do this, we actually do these deals in all 50 states because the lending guidelines have not gotten any better with all the bailouts and everything else. They've only gotten even tighter than they were in 2007, which is difficult to believe. But
no, it's not hard to believe, really.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's if you watch the news. You watch the news, they want you to think everything's peachy, but that's not.
Well, I personally tried to I own several houses, obviously, and I live in one that I have a mortgage on. I don't have a mortgage on those down there in Loganville, but I got a mortgage on the one I live in, and I got a 5.75% interest. I've had it for 10 years, and I wanted to get another 10-year on it, and they would give me a loan. I mean, it's unbelievable. I have a credit score of 800, and but because I have these rental properties and debts, and they said my debt-to-income ratio was just too high, but yet they didn't want to count the money that was coming in.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it was unbelievable.
It's crazy. And, and part of the problem is, and I don't know if they hit you with this, but they started hitting us and other investors with, they wanted you to have, in addition to having the debt-to-income ratio in check, they wanted you to have a 12 months worth of reserves for each property that you had in cash. And you're like, what?
Yeah. I mean, well, the properties, the real properties I have, the ones I lease, I don't have any mortgages or loans on. And that's the issue. I wish I had them on those and not on the ones I live in. I live in one, and then I have a couple more around my neighborhood that other relatives live in, and they pay rent, but that's a little bit different.
Okay. So lease purchase type deal works, and is the house vacant now, or is it?
It'll be vacant at the end of the month.
At the end of the month. Okay. All right. So how are we having to wait till they're out to see it?
I can't even get in there. I mean, there's some repairs I need to do.
Okay.
I know there's some windows that I need to either replace or repair. They only sent me pictures and told me it was beyond their capabilities to fix, unless they wanted me to hire, I wanted them to hire Champion Windows or something that that would go out, and I'm sure would do a great job, but cost 4 times what it would really cost.
Oh yeah. Okay.
So I got some repairs, and I'm planning on doing that as soon as they're out.
As soon as they're out. Okay.
Yeah, and again, you would have the standard stuff to do, like paint. I assume that the people that are moving out, and I assume, and I have to assume because I've been told and shown that Crown has deposits and all that sort of thing. So I have to believe that the house will be in decent shape, just need a paint job, and of course the repairs I have to make.
Okay, and the repairs that you have to make, aren't they covered by the security deposit, or is that just normal maintenance?
No, this is some windows are leaking. And they sent me pictures of them, and it's strange. I mean, they're like, to me, from what I saw in the pictures, there's 3 windows, and they're all on the same side in the same area, and they're like bowed, and it's like they won't shut all the way. So either somebody went and squirted too much insulation in around those windows when they were put in, or I really don't know what could have possibly happened. But anyway, I'm going to find out. I think I just have to probably take the windows out and cut out whatever the obstructions are, and hopefully put the same windows back in. But if worst case, put new windows in, but leave the sash from outside, because it's 4-sided brick. I don't want to mess with that.
Oh, no. Yeah. Okay. All right. So you think if they're out by June 1st, and then you've got some stuff to do, I think, would you have June 17th or something in the ad? Is that right?
I would think so.
Okay. But on June 1st, they could actually take a look at it.
Yes.
And we just tell them that we're fixing the windows, and it's going to be cleaned and painted and all that stuff, and we're good to go. Because here's the thing, and let me ask you this real quick. As far as the layout, let me explain to you what the scenario is here, so this will make sense. I got a really nice couple, but they're taking care of it's the father's husband, and he's a little bit elderly, and the challenge that we've been running into is trying to find a property that has a bedroom and bathroom where he can shower or bathe, either one, that's on either the main floor or it's in the basement, but has access to him without him having to, and an external access is fine, but where he doesn't have to go up and down a bunch of stairs to get there. How's the floor plan here?
Oh man, I got to remember, because I got 2 side by side. One of them definitely has a master bedroom, and and bath on the main floor. The second one, the one that's for rent, I think, if I'm not mistaken, is it listed as 2.5 baths?
Let me see. Here, hold on. What do we got? We got, all right, full basement, hardwood floors on first level, blah, 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 from living dining room, and bedroom on first level. It says bedroom. It doesn't say master bedroom, which I think is why they picked it.
Well, I don't know the answer. I'm sorry. As a matter of fact, as you called me, I'm looking at changing insurance agents, our insurance company, for those two houses out there, and I've been digging through all my files looking for a layout.
Oh, you know what? Hey,
I have insurance on both of them, and they're almost identical houses. I mean, they're different layouts, but they cost the same amount to build. They're almost the same square footage, but my insurance agent says one of them is listed at 3,400 square feet, and the other one's listed at 26 or 27. Man, that's like crazy. So anyway, it's ironic that you called because I am digging for that.
I'm going to pull up the property tax records real quick. That's how I found you to begin with. So hang on, let me see which one. So is this the one that we're talking about? It's the bigger of the two?
It would have more bedrooms.
Is it 1209?
Yes.
1209? All right, let me pull it up real quick, and I'll see if it'll show me the floor plan.
Plus, it's got a nice covered back porch. One of them has 5 bedrooms, one of them has 4, but again, square footage wise, they're roughly the same. 1209 and 1213 are the two addresses I have, but 1213 is probably not listed.
Yeah, it's listed in the property tax records, but I haven't seen an ad for it. Bear with me one second.
You won't see an ad for it anytime soon.
Was there somebody in it?
Oh yeah. Crown. I mean, like I say, and I know it's probably just a coincidence, but both of the houses, I mean, I listed them with Crown at 2 different times, like 6 months apart, and within 24 hours they had them leave.
Oh yeah, no. Listen, I'm not saying anything bad about Crown's business. Don't misunderstand. I'm just saying from my perspective for what I do, it's very challenging to get through. Yeah. No, they do. Yeah, I've been dealing with them for years. They do a phenomenal job, and if somebody asks me, to get a property management firm, I mean they're the best in all of Atlanta. All right, I don't know why they don't seem to have a.
Although something has changed with them in the past 6 or 8 months. I don't know if the owner sold or I don't know, but I can tell. I'm getting different communications from them.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm not real sure what's going on. It could be nothing, but they definitely have new people, new maintenance managers, new property managers.
Well, yeah, realtors turn over, quite frequently, and there's not the money real estate.
Yeah, I'll tell you too. Even though the housing prices are not really coming back very, slightly they are, but there's not a lot of inventory in terms of new houses, and there are spots. It depends on the price range, but I know just about every builder I know, and I wasn't a builder. My brother happened to be in the concrete business, and it was going crazy in 2004 and 5, and he finally convinced me to get into the business about 2006. Basically, invested in the business in 2006.
Yeah, worst possible time ever.
Well, it was at its peak.
It was definitely at its peak.
About the time I got them framed in is when they were just being framed, and I started hearing on the news a little bit about the housing market, and by this time, Fannie and Freddie, that has nothing, Barney Frank had already come on and said, Fannie and Freddie are great, don't worry about it, but I knew something.
Yeah, well, he's,
too late at that point in time.
Yeah, that whole thing was a disaster. The Dodd-Frank Act and all that stuff. None of that stuff is helping anything.
Well, no, especially on my end.
No.
I mean, on some people's end, then.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, let me ask you this then. So it looks to me, because here's basically the bottom line. If I could get the people to see the house, which I can do today, I mean, we could have this thing wrapped up this afternoon. Will the tenants allow somebody to take a look at it? I mean, do we have that?
Crown does not allow me to have contact with the tenants. I don't even know the tenants' names.
You got to be kidding me. You got people in your house and you don't even know who they are?
No, but that's what I pay Crown for.
Wow.
You know, I probably have a document somewhere, you know, that I got 2 years ago when the people rented it.
Gotcha.
I mean, you know, I get $16.50 rent every month, and you know, it's like clockwork. And so, I never really worried much about it, but I'm sure I may be a little facetious by saying but I don't know their name. I probably have their names. I certainly don't know their names.
Gotcha.
The Crown, they won't let me in the house. I was a contractor myself at one time, or at least I owned a contract business, and they won't even let me in to look at the windows now.
Okay, hold on, boss. Hold on. You know, it's not the way the law works.
Yeah. Well,
all that you're required to do legally as a landlord, unless you sign something waiving all your rights, which I doubt, and I'm not even sure that would hold up in court, as you being the owner with a maintenance issue that somebody has emailed to you that you're trying to fix, is you're legally the only thing you're required to do is provide. And I'm not talking about an emergency situation. Emergency, you can go in immediately, but like on a normal thing like this, you provide them 24 hours notice, and you know, in writing, and you know, you go through normal business hours.
I'm sure I could push it.
Yeah, I'm not asking you to push. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. Listen. Here's the thing.
Quite frankly, it just hadn't been high on my priority list, you know, and I had planned on it being vacant for a month, and I wasn't really worried about it. So.
Okay.
That's kind of my attitude. I got so much other stuff going on that was that's how my priority is.
What do you want to sell the house for?
Probably whatever the price is for.
Okay.
Maybe a few percent less.
You don't have to. I mean, if we're going to do this, when I put these types of deals together, you know, it has to be a win-win. And the way that they get put together, you know, for me, if you're going to have somebody in your property and they're making payments and then they want to purchase the house at some other point in time, they got to pay full price. I mean, that's the way we always do it.
Right, lease purchase. Yeah. I've never actually done a lease purchase. I had a contract written on one, and you're right. Yeah, I was getting more money than I was even thinking I was going to ask. But
well, and the other thing too, the way that I put them together, just so you understand, is the people that are in the property are taking care of all maintenance and repairs, and I require that they get a home warranty so that it avoids and negates additional expense coming out of your cash flow, like fixing windows and painting and all this other stuff that has to be done, that it's all taken care of by the incoming tenant buyers or whatever. They handle everything, and we have them get the home warranty so that, let's say they get in there June 17th and the air conditioner goes out and it's $2,500 to replace it. Well, they're not looking at you. You know, they're going to call the warranty company and pay a $50 deductible, and they come out and they change out the unit or do whatever they have to do to get it fixed. And then, you know, there's not all this everybody pulling out their pistols over who's going to pay for the unit that failed week one, if that makes sense.
I have warranty companies on the properties that I live in and my family.
Okay. Oh, yeah, so you know how that works then.
But I pay for it now, so it'd be great if somebody else did.
Well, again, Jerry, listen, if we put this deal together, and you listen to what I'm telling you here, they're going to pay for everything. You're going to make more money on a monthly basis on the deal, because I'm also going to, when I put the contract together the right way, they're going to be getting a homeowner's policy that would enable you to get rid of the structural policy that you've got now, so you'd cash flow on that. They're going to cover the property taxes on the house. Okay?
Well, sounds good.
No, listen, I put these things together for myself. I didn't want to be a landlord, and I certainly didn't want to hire a property management firm because, what do they take? What are they charging these people? Like $1,800 or $1,900 for the house, and they're giving you $1,650? Is that what they do? Or
there's a upfront fee. I don't want to say it's $1,800. It's probably more like $1,000 or something like that.
And who pays that? You or them? You or the tenant, I mean.
Oh, I do. They get $1,650 rent out of it. I get, if I don't have any maintenance, I'll get I think $1,570. So it's about $80 a month, plus the initial fee, which again I think was $1,000.
Okay.
$800 to $1,000. I apologize.
No, it's okay.
Don't have all that information handy because it's been 24 months since I've dealt with either one of the houses, and because they had 2-year leases on both of them. Well, actually, I had 2-year leases on both of them, and this one is running out, and the other one will run 6 months later. So I'll have that lease coming up soon too.
Okay. Well, I'd like to talk to you about that one, when you get closer on that one as well. But as far as this one is concerned, let me explain to you how it would work so it makes sense. Okay. If $1,650 is the number, you're going to net, and I say net because you're not paying me anything. I'm not charging you $1,000. I can't even believe that's amazing that they get that. You're not paying.
It is worth some money for, especially since initially I was only doing renting, so it's worth the money to have somebody come out. I mean, I don't have to do anything. I mean, I do nothing. I don't show the property. I don't do anything. So, but anyway, go ahead.
No, I listen. I agree with you. I understand. I do this too, and I do deals all over the United States from my house or my iPhone or my iPad, and I never physically go to any property or show anything or do any of that stuff either. My only point was it's normally it's just amazing to me that they made you pay cash up front because generally speaking, most property management deals they would collect the first month's rent when they had a buyer coming in, or not a buyer, but
it may have been something like that.
All right, never mind. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Don't worry about that. Okay, so that being said, then, so you would get $1,650 plus because you would
not pay taxes.
You would not pay taxes. You would not pay the homeowner's insurance because they're going to cover that. So whatever you're paying for those things, those expenses are gone. The situation with the maintenance after they take occupancy, maintenance and repairs is 100% their responsibility, and I make them get a home warranty, okay? And just so you understand, I mean, you would have the people's contact information and all that and be able to see your house whenever you wanted to, unlike whatever the scenario is now. So that, I mean, you'd have direct communication for anything. But the way the deals are structured, there's nothing to communicate on because basically you get a check every month, and if there's a mortgage, you pay one, but you said there is no mortgage, so you just collect the payment. There's nothing to do. And then during that period of time, we're getting them qualified for mortgage financing so that they then do what's called the takeout or the refinance or whatever at that point to pay you full price for the property, and then you get your whatever it is, $250 or $275 in cash. I don't know what the house is worth, but
you're in the ballpark. I don't either, but you're in the ballpark. I mean, it cost me over $3 to build, but that was a long time ago.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but
and interestingly enough, building costs are up now. I mean,
what'd you say?
Building costs are pretty high right now.
It's insane, man. Everything's upside down. I mean, it's just
compared to. I mean, you would think that when all of the building supply companies started going out of business, and building costs would go down, and they did for a while, but now they're higher than they were back in 2006. For things like sheetrock, brick, block, concrete, pretty much everything that comes to build a house.
Oh yeah, it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Okay.
All right. So what do you want to do?
Well, I want to put a deal together today. I don't want to waste any time. There's no reason to. I mean, there's an expression in real estate, and especially in investing, is time kills a deal. There's no reason to wait. Normally, at this point, what I would do with you, just so you understand, I'm not a realtor. I'm not, you don't ever pay me a dime on anything. So it all comes from the buyer. Is I have to have some type of an agreement with you to be involved in the transaction. And so the way that we normally do that is through what's called a non-exclusive option agreement, which basically is, you and I agreeing in writing on a simple one-page document that the monthly payment is $1,650 plus. In other words, they're paying taxes and insurance and HOA dues and everything else associated with the house, plus maintenance and repairs. And the sales price is X. And for X, we can put, if this is what you want, and this is entirely up to you, we can either come up with a price and say it's $275 or whatever, or if you feel like the market is going to continue to move up here over the next 12 to 18 to 24 months, which I think probably it is based on the limited inventory, then we can just have the purchase price be appraised value at the time of what's called the takeout when they get financing. And we can put in place what's called a floor, which means that there's a number that you don't have to go below no matter what it appraises for if you don't want to. So let's just say you have in your mind 275 and the appraisal comes back at 250. Well, you don't have to close at 250 if you don't want to. That's up to you at that point. So basically what I need you to do is just tell me what you want. You want appraised value, you want a floor, you want both, you want just, you want to figure out a number now. And
Well,
that's
how long is the lease purchase?
Well, again,
12 months, 24 months, 18 months?
here, I'm gonna give you double speak, and I'll explain to you why that is. I generally set up the contracts at 24 months because there's one reason and one reason only. I want to make sure that the tenant buyers that are coming in have a legitimate opportunity to qualify during the contract term. Having said that, because the property is in FHA price point, okay, for what's called the Atlanta MSA, it should not take our average client greater than 6 months to qualify, and we want them closed as quick as humanly possible. I set them up at 24 months because I don't know what else Barney Frank and FHA are going to do to layer on additional guidelines for financing that would prevent a legitimate buyer like you with an 800 credit score, from getting a loan. So that's it. But having said that, I mean, it's, we can do it any way you want to do it. You've got it set up for rent right now. So obviously I'm assuming you were looking for at least 12 months. Is there any harm in doing a 24 month?
No, actually, Crown, I usually deal 24-month leases. They usually write 24 months.
Okay.
At least after me. Yeah, that would be fine. Of course, I think I sent an email to Crown telling them that I did want to continue letting them market the house.
Okay.
I would have to, if you and I struck a deal, I'd have to send them a letter of cancellation.
Well, yeah, and you don't need to do that right now. Well, here's what I would suggest. And to understand something, I'm not trying to cut them out of anything. I mean, if you want to get them paid, we can just add the money into the deal. That's fine either way. All I wanted to do was save myself and you a bunch of time and hassle, because you and I can just talk directly and work it out. And then if you still want to pay them, there's nothing they're going to be able, there's nothing to manage the way I set it up.
I agree. No, listen, I have no problem with cutting them out. There's no reason to pay them.
Okay.
They do have one of my other houses, but, so what?
Okay.
But, I mean, like I said earlier, I'm sure if I press the issue, I could get access to the house. They do inspections, and they send me reports. And basically, now, Crown might file bankruptcy, but I'd certainly sue the crap out of them if I went to take possession of my house and it wasn't what the reports that they were sending me said it was.
Sure.
So, but again, I think that they're probably a pretty good company. But there's no sense in paying Crown to do something that's going to take twice as long.
Agreed. Well, and not only that, though, I'm just not sure what value they would, that they're going to provide to you in this type of a deal. I mean, the deal, it sort of speaks for itself as to what it is. The numbers are better, and you have, what we in investing call an exit strategy, where we would have somebody that would be coming in that is going to qualify and you have light at the end of the tunnel to get your 275 back. Because I'm assuming, like I said, if you were like me, and especially given the fact that you have a property management company, you don't really want to deal with rentals. If somebody asked me a question and say, hey, Vincent, would you rather have $275,000 in cash today or an income stream of $1,650 a month for the next, 24 months guaranteed? I'm, $275 today, I'll take all day, every day. Okay, so if that's the case, then if you can give me your email address, what I'd like to do is I can send you I'll send you the standard. And listen to what I'm saying. So, because, some people, if you're savvy to these things and you understand it, it's very simple. Some people don't understand and they get freaked out, and I want to make it as simple. I have these contracts dumbed down as much as humanly possible to make them as non-scary as possible, the little legalese. All I'm trying to do in this agreement is two things. One is verify that you and I have the numbers correct. You want $1,650 net plus taxes plus insurance. I don't know if there's an HOA or not, but if there is, that'll get covered as well. And then a purchase price of whatever that is. And if that's fair market value based on appraisal, then that's what I'll put. If you want a floor of 275, then that's what I'll put. You just tell me what those things are. I'll put that together and then send it over to you. You click a button on your computer to accept, and then I have a document at that point in time that says that I am not illegally brokering without a license. Okay, because I want everything to be on the up and up legal, and it doesn't bind you to anything. It's a non-exclusive agreement. So if before we put a deal together with the tenants, you say, go to hell, I don't want to do this, then you send me an email saying that, and you're out. You never pay me any money anyway. It all comes from the tenants. So, it's kind of a no-brainer deal, if that makes any sense.
I would want the floor of 275, and I would think I would go with the appraised value because I had it appraised when I had a contract right before we rented, and it was appraised. I think it appraised for 260. That was 2 years ago. And real estate's been coming up since. So I don't know what's worth. I know the tax value didn't change.
Sure.
That's okay.
Okay.
So I guess the appraised value are for.
Okay, I got that. And then 1650 plus. All right. And then, Jerry, what's your email address? Okay. And all right, what I'm going to do here, give me about 15 minutes and I'll fire that over. And then with your permission, and only with your permission, here's what I'm thinking about doing. And you tell me if this is okay or not. I can have my clients do sort of a drive-by and take a look at, obviously at the exterior of the house. And I assume there's probably a sign in the yard listing it for rent.
I doubt it.
Oh, really?
I would be surprised if there is one. I've never seen one back when I started this. But again, I don't keep track of them. I only have 2 houses listed with Crown.
Okay. All right. Well, what I can do then, because they've got the address listed on the internet, so it's not like it's a secret where the house is at.
And I had them for sale at one time, and it had virtual tour. So I'm sure there's film out there. There's digital media out there that's got a tour of the house, shows the whole thing.
Okay.
That's one of the things I was trying to track down.
Okay. Do you know where that's at?
I do not. Evidently, it's not on my computer. Evidently, it was a link I had.
Okay.
And so I do know the lady that had it listed. Ann Milano is her name. I don't know if that name rings a bell. Where are you at?
Well, I was based out of Alpharetta, but right now I'm in Scottsdale, Arizona. Okay. Well, let me think through this, because what I can have them do is do a drive-by late in the afternoon when the people are probably going to be there, and I can have them knock on the door and just talk to the people and get their info if we need to, if that makes sense. Or we can always just wait till June 17th, and then what I would do in the interim is just go ahead and go to a contract with my clients contingent upon their inspection on the 17th, or not the 17th, the 1st, which is in what, 10 days?
I don't really care if they knock on the door. It really doesn't matter to me.
I like you already. All right.
What's the worst that could happen?
Well, yeah, I mean,
Around saying somebody's looking at the house.
well, yeah, they've got it on the internet. I mean, it's not like it's a
Right,
mystery.
they got it on the internet. So stupid people just try to knock on the door.
Hey, it happens every day.
Right.
It happens every day. So if they do that and the
I
people
know
are
it
trying,
does in the insurance business.
Yeah.
The insurance guys stop all the time at my house.
yeah, you know,
Be in the neighborhood.
I'll just tell my clients to go by, after 5 and, knock on the, in reasonable hours, obviously, just knock on the door and explain to the people that they're, putting a contract on the house in and they were wanting to see about scheduling a time, to see it.
Yeah. And I do know, if you've got a client that's going to do that, then I do know that when it rains, there are some windows that leak, and that'll be taken care of.
And that's fine. I mean, I'll have that in our contract that will be rectified prior to their occupancy and prior to June 17th. Okay, and then what'll happen then is, we contract with the people. If they can see it, today or whenever and it works, then, and they're, it's a thumbs up, then, you and I just finalize everything and you'll have money in hand, prior to that can hopefully then.
Yeah, worst case scenario, if it doesn't, if it's not working out, and I get in there and I make the repairs, and you still don't have a client, then worst case scenario is I call Crown.
Well, yeah, no, understand what I'm saying. I have a client that can be there this afternoon.
And I do understand that.
Yeah, okay.
But if that client doesn't like it, then you got to come up with another one.
Yeah. Which I don't anticipate. I've got a database of about 5,000 people so I don't anticipate that's going to be a significant issue.
Right. I look forward to the email. I'll do my best to get it back. It's 2:37 my time. I have to be out of here. I've got to be out of here. I've got an appointment at 4:00 my time. And get a shower and all kind of stuff like that. So I'm retired. My work consists of either volunteer work or grandkids.
Okay. Well, this document I'm going to send to you, I'm going to have it to you within about, probably before you're out of the shower. Right. And it's extremely, and don't get,
All right. So what you're telling me then is you're going to send me a document. If I say, okay, this is good, let's go.
Yep.
I'm basically only giving you authorization to try to do a lease purchase. I'm not committed to you to do anything other than that.
Correct. And you're not even committed to me to do that prior to me putting a deal together and calling you back and saying, hey, I got a deal and I got money in hand and we're ready to pull the trigger. If you
I just want to make sure that, I'm not doing anything. And as long as this is between you and me, then it's not an issue. I just don't want to get Crown involved.
No, I don't want to get them involved either.
I'd rather be able to call them and say, hey, I decided, I got a buyer. I got my own buyer. Whatever.
There you go. And that's true and that's legit. So I'll have this to you. Like I said, let me go ahead and get this going. I'll have this to you before you get out of the shower. And then if you have any questions, you can just give me a call back or email me or whatever. But it's extremely simplistic. It's really more of a formality just to verify the numbers and just so that, we can say, hey, yes, I'm not, doing anything illegal here. We do have an agreement with you, and that's it. Okay, listen,
right.
Jerry, thanks very much for your time. I'll have it to you shortly.
And that, my friends, is how easy and simple it actually can be. Doesn't have to be any more difficult than that. Solve somebody's problems and do it in a professional, conversational manner, and you can make an absolute fortune. Now, if you got any value out of this podcast or any of the prior episodes, I'm going to ask you to do me a quick favor. Click the subscribe button, and if you would please take a moment to hit the 5-star rating in iTunes and leave a quick written review. And then you can take part of my 30 for 30 promotion, which is going on right now, where if you give me 30 seconds and do those 3 things, subscribe, 5-star rate and review, I'll provide you with a free 30-minute one-on-one coaching call that I've provided dozens of other people that retail out at $1,000 an hour. And you can verify this by checking out my Clarity profile. But for you, it only costs 30 seconds. So take a moment in iTunes and click subscribe, leave a 5-star rating and a quick written review, and then go to the website and sign up for your free one-on-one coaching call with me. You can sign up for the free one-on-one coaching call at virtualrealestateinvestor.org/podcast. podcast reviews. Once again, that's virtualrealestateinvestor.org/podcast reviews. I really, really appreciate it. It means the world to me. So thank you.
Thank you for listening to the Virtual Real Estate Investor Podcast with Vincent Polisi. If you found any value in this podcast, please use our Give to Get method and take a moment to give us a 5-star rating in iTunes and your favorite podcast service so we can keep giving you excellent episodes of real content you can use to profit today.